X-Files Season 5, Episode 16, The Mind's Eye. Nothing for that?
I don't remember.
Alright, so this is the blind murderer chick.
Oh, okay.
Played by Lily Taylor.
I do remember now everything.
From The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, every time I see her, I always think of her in High Fidelity with John Cusack and Jack Black. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't think so.
I gotta show it to you one day. It's a really good one. It's a really good one. It's one of his ex-girlfriends. He kind of like goes through his past. And yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, she is caught. She is suspected to be the killer, and then they're like, "How could she be the killer? She's blind." Do.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Yeah, overall, I enjoy this one. You can definitely tell in what time period we're in because there's this like O.J. Simpson reference and joke. Even though at that time, I feel like O.J. had already been acquitted. Because, yeah, I think there is an actual, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit joke in here. Mm. Yeah, Mulder says something like it when she goes to put the glove on.
I think she's the one that says something like that.
You even know what I'm talking about? Do you know that?
I don't know what that is, but I think she's the one that says something about it.
Taylor was 2 years old when O.J. Simpson killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, so
yeah,
I don't think
I'm not super familiar with, like, what happened.
You are so lucky you did not live through that case, because it was on every channel, all the time, 24/7. You think we talk about Trump enough nowadays on TV? It was like that with OJ. It was every fucking channel, every second, and every day, like 5 days a week, his trial was on TV on every channel. And every time I tried to turn on my cartoons or my shows or whatever, it would always get interrupted by some breaking thing, or we got to move to the court case, or whatever. Like, fuck this guy, he's guilty. And then he got off, and I was like, this is insane. This is insane. That guy clearly did it. I'm 12, and I know he did it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you did not live through O.J. Simpson, and that was insane. 1994 was a wild year. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, so her eyes function when she can see in her mind's eye.
Yeah, they have like an actual physical reaction, which is cool.
Cool, yeah.
I thought that was pretty neat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise it's just kind of like we've had, I don't know, actually maybe not in this show, but it's just a unique twist on it.
Yeah.
Of like the blind person that gets visions and can see things.
Yeah.
And I like that, she's got like a whole attitude and everything. Like she's not really trying to help herself much.
No, not
and
at all.
Mulder's like, I know you didn't do it. Like I know you're lying and that you're just trying to like cover it up for some reason. So that's also an interesting spin on this.
Even so, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna say this though. I really don't understand her in this. I really don't get it.
I think
so. The problem I have with this episode that just doesn't make any sense to me is that she wants to be rid of his vision, right? Like, she doesn't realize it's her father, right?
No, she doesn't know that it's her father.
So, but she's connected to him, which I'd called, of course. I mean, anybody probably could have. I was like, oh, this is definitely going to be her father. Regardless, she's like not trying to help herself, and she's just going to stay in prison, take the blame for things for him. And it's like, I don't understand this at all, because what she ultimately wants is for him to be brought to justice and killed so he can get out of her head, so she can stop seeing terrible things.
Yeah.
Right? Why would she then want to go to prison to let him continue to kill, where she's trapped in a prison cell where she can't do anything? Throughout the episode, she's trying to get to the places, she's putting her life on the line. She's running in fucking out in the middle of the street, almost getting hit by cars, screaming for people to help her. Even though once they get to the place where a person could actually help her, she decides to push them away to try to go help. But she doesn't get there in time. She feels responsible, I guess, for not getting there in time or something. But regardless, how do you stop the guy while in prison? And then if you are in prison and you have given up, not only does he continue to keep killing, which you don't want him to do, but you also have to sit in prison as a prisoner who cannot leave, and all you're going to do while you're in prison is see the visions of him killing, which you continued to let happen because you took the fall for him. This makes no fucking sense to me at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is a bit of like a plot hole, so to speak, because I don't understand why she would want to go to prison without like
she gives no
herself.
Reason.
Yeah, I think that like she's supposed to just be kind of difficult and messed up because of her childhood and the fact that she's been like seeing through his eyes and has like experienced all this.
But she continues even after that to try to stop him once she's released. So she does still have the desire to stop him. That's her ultimate goal. But it's even when she does stop him, she's totally fine with still going to jail.
I think that mostly what it comes down to is the fact that she doesn't trust the police. I don't think because she's had like interactions with them in the past, like she has a criminal record, like she's been caught dealing drugs, doing all kinds of things. I just think that she does not think that they're going to help her. I don't think she believes it at all. And Mulder, and truthfully, like Mulder is trying to like help her, but the other ones are kind of like, I guess you did it.
Yeah.
You know, they're just worried because like she could get off on, unless they find a murder weapon, but like after they do.
But she could prove her innocence so easily.
I agree. I think that when you think about it, unfortunately, like it just doesn't make sense.
No.
So, yeah.
So that's the issue I have. Yeah. I like her performance.
Me too.
I like the episode if I don't think about it at all.
Yeah.
In theory, we've gotten the like connected to the killer visions before. Yeah. This is nothing new to the X-Files, right? But the spin of her like taking the blame, and even in the end, she knocks the guy out and kills him, which reminded me a lot of Eyes of a Stranger with Jennifer Jason Leigh. As she's like blind and trying to find the killer, and then her sight starts to come back as she kills him. So very similar to that, but she's still just like Mulder's like, I can talk to him. She's like, no, don't bother. It's like, why? What is wrong with you? I mean, that's fine. That's not really a plot hole, right? Like, because characters' decisions aren't plot holes. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I guess it's technically possible. Sure, she could just be like, fuck it, I'm going to go to jail, because she's not thinking things through. But once she gets in there and she realizes the folly of it all, she's going to be like, wait a minute, now he can just kill unmatched, he's not going to be caught, and I'm going to have to just sit in here and watch all of the failures that I have to live with now, because I could have stopped him, and now I'm in prison and no one will listen to me. So I just don't get any of that. And it really hurts the episode for me. Mm-hmm. Because of that. I like how Mulder is like the one, he's offended by being called the skeptical one. And he's like, walks away and he's like, skeptical.
Yeah, that's really funny.
It is. Even though Mulder is skeptical at this point. He's very much like, I don't know if aliens exist, and if you think so, you're just being manipulated by the plans. Although, that's going to change very soon. Once he encounters an actual UFO that Scully's aboard of. Spoilers for the movie, of course. And let's see. Her mom was killed, and she was born premature, which is what blinded her, but she was connected to the killer, and the killer, of course, is the father.
Yeah.
And I think I said pretty much everything I have to say about this episode. It's really just kind of like, it's cool in theory, but man, the execution of it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything that you said as far as like your criticisms go. But I enjoyed it. I think the acting is good from her. And I always like when Mulder's like trying to help somebody who doesn't want help. It's a good role for him to play, I think.
I know that
because it's kind of like him trying to prove like that he's trustworthy to them. Mm-hmm. And I really like seeing that.
I know that there's probably only one way to play this, because blind has a specific look to it, I guess. But I find it funny because I feel like everyone plays blind the exact same way.
I do too.
Who is not blind. They just kind of like stare off into a certain direction the whole time. It's funny. I don't know. I feel like every movie I ever watch, or a actual person who can see who's playing a blind person, I feel like they get the exact same performance.
Yeah, I definitely wonder, like, because I don't know. I mean, she's been blind her whole life, so she wouldn't like really have a need to move her eyes or like look towards anybody or anything. But I do wonder, like, people who go blind later, like, if they still, like... just
look in the direction of the person
yeah,
they're talking
because
to.
I think that the blind, like, what you're talking about, like, in movies, it's always, like, they literally are just, like, looking off away from them. And...
it's to, like, prove that they're blind.
Right.
Right.
Like, they're just, like, specifically not making eye contact. And I also feel like... I don't know about this, but... because I was thinking about it during the episode, and I meant to look it up, but I didn't. Is that I was wondering if blind people have to blink as often.
Sure.
Because they're not, like... I don't know. I guess I was just wondering if that's, like, something that they need to... because you blink to, like...
to moisten your eyes.
Yeah. But if you're not, like, really, like, using your eyes...
I mean, they're still there.
I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I was just, like, wondering, because there's, like, one scene where she, like, blinks a lot, like, towards the end, where she's, like, very agitated, and so she's, like, blinking a ton.
It's just a muscle reaction because of your stress.
Yeah.
Right?
So I was just kind of, like, thinking about that. So I don't know. I need to look it up, but if anybody knows anything about that, they can also tell us in the comments.
Yeah. I mean...
I have no idea. I mean, I'm assuming that for some people, like, if they have, like, specific conditions, like, with their eyes... maybe they wouldn't need to blink, but I don't really know a lot about like what like the different forms of blindness, because there are different
levels,
things.
yeah.
Well, there are different levels, but there are different things that can cause you to be blind.
Sure.
Because like obviously in the what is it, the eye, what is it, the
cornea?
No, what is that movie that you just referenced? The Eyes of a Killer. What is that?
Eyes of a Stranger.
Eyes of a Stranger.
Yeah.
Like, she's blind from trauma.
Yeah.
Which is something that can happen.
Yeah.
Just like mute, people becoming mute from trauma, or I'm sure like deaf too. Like, the brain can do crazy things, but then there's also like physiological reasons why you'd be blind. So, and there's a lot of different causes for that, as I assume. I don't know much about it. I'm just kind of talking about it.
Yeah,
but,
choosing not to speak versus your eyes literally shutting down because of trauma is totally wild and different to me. Like,
but it's...
I get what you're saying, but to me it's like one is more of like, I have the ability to speak, I just decide not to, as to where your eyes literally stop working because of trauma, and then you can make them work again if you get through the trauma. That's crazy to me.
That's not necessarily true, because like, yes, people might decide to not speak, but it's also like they
try
physically lose the ability to speak. So it would be the same as losing your sight.
I guess. I never heard of that.
It's not like necessarily a choice. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about that. Honestly, to be completely frank, I don't know if I've ever really talked to or hung around a blind person in my life. I'm trying to remember any interactions I've had. I've seen blind people like walking with their canes and whatnot in my life, but pretty rare. I haven't seen a lot of blind people, and I don't know if I've really interacted with one.
Yeah, when I was at my old job, I drove by the Foundation for like Blind Children in Phoenix, like every day. And I only saw maybe one person outside, but it was a huge building.
Did you run over any of them?
No.
Because they weren't...
No.
Couldn't see it coming?
No.
Terrible.
Terrible.
All right, that's that. Moving on. Adios.
Bye.